Hazy sun, scattered clouds, and showers and storms possible on Friday. Good Thursday night, East Tennessee. David Aldrich, Captain Accurate here from the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Well, we hit 88 degrees today. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. Wait a minute. You said we'd get to 91 degrees. You were off by 3 degrees. Ha 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 ha. Well, not exactly. It was 88, yes, at the airport, but it was 91 in Oak Ridge. Sometimes you can win, but sometimes you can lose. And because we had more clouds and rain around the airport, Knoxville wasn't quite as warm as Oak Ridge. They got up to 91. They saw a 90-degree day in Athens, 89 in Tellico Plains, so clearly some variability. And as I expected, there might be low to mid-80s in parts of the foothills, Smokies. Greenville only hit 81 today, while it was 87 in Crossville. It was 82 in Newport, so it did vary. Temperatures were obviously different depending on which community or region of East Tennessee you were today. I want to show you the radar, the ultimate Doppler radar, just before 8:30 tonight. We've got some showers and storms. You go, is this loosely related to Debbie? Yes, it is. Yes, these are loosely related to. Now, Debbie was downgraded to a tropical depression, but you can see from the ultimate Doppler radar presented by your Marco's Pizza, local Marco's Pizza, most of these over the last couple of hours just kind of formed as it spun down from the northeast. Look at that. Clinton, Knoxville, wasn't quite necessarily over maybe Oak Ridge, maybe it was in parts of West Knox County, but let's rewind that tape once again. There's about 3 o'clock. Oop, right there. Moved right into Loudon and Madisonville. Had some showers in Fentress County, Cumberland County, and that's where we stand at this evening's time frame. Marcos.com, by the way, my sponsor for the Ultimate Doppler Radar. If you need a late night snack, maybe you haven't had dinner yet, may I suggest Marcos.com. They're in Hardin Valley and Farragut. They're in Maryville and Fountain City. You can find a local Marco's Pizza in Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, and Ebenezer Road. Check out their pepperoni pizza, the Magnifico or the Pizzoli. I love both of these, and they are delicious, and they're on a discount for a limited time. You want to check them out at Marcos.com. Now, the spin associated with Debbie, even though she's been downgraded in terms of wind, she's still a big, heavy rainmaker. There's just no question about it. And even though you don't see those bright colors from the legend, you see what he said, red and purple. You don't see that as much, right? Most of what you see is spinning is just red or yellow. But because it's tropical, the raindrops are in pretty intense. Now, I did some checking. Knoxville on the left, Greensboro on the right. There's about just under 300 miles, 290 to be precise. If you do the Google Maps, 290 miles due east is Greensboro and Asheboro. But we're on the left side of this map, so there's Knoxville, there's Gatlinburg and Loudon and La Follette. So a big difference 290 miles makes. But with winds of 35 miles an hour, they're going to have some flooding rains as they head up toward Lynchburg and Roanoke. And eventually, with winds around 35 miles per hour, it'll head up toward Pennsylvania and upstate New York. Now, what's interesting, somebody today thought the D stood for Debbie. Well, no, it stands for a depression. I mean, I guess it's appropriate that it would be a D. But no, she was downgraded to a tropical depression. So the winds are not as intense, but the D, Tropical Depression Debbie, is now going to move up toward cooler waters as it heads up into the northern Atlantic. Most of what you can see is obviously going to stay out of harm's way, but there is going to be more concern tomorrow. Even tomorrow, there could be some big floods, flash flooding areas in red. That would be mainly north of Washington, D.C., but D.C. is vulnerable. Richmond is too. As you can see, it extends all the way up into upstate New York and Pennsylvania. So if you're traveling there, take note. They're going to have a lot of excessive rain that's coming by way of the Weather Prediction Center. So if it's red, it would mean there's numerous flash floods likely. If it's yellow, there's some scattered flash floods possible in this part of the area. By the way, tracking the clouds, we've set plenty of those now. It kind of spun in here, but not everybody had the downpours like some may have had or occurred today. Headlines, a few storms possible tomorrow. Less humid, bright sunshine Saturday. And I could probably label this weekend as a motorcycle weekend, if you have one, or a convertible, or a Jeep, or a moonroof, sunroof, whatever you want to call it, because you might want to peel that top off with the lower humidity, but you got to get through tomorrow. If you take it off now and then you get rained on Friday, you'll be mad at me. So I'm just trying to lay down the groundwork. You got to wait through maybe tomorrow afternoon, and then by tomorrow evening, clouds will clear out clearly across the area and things will improve. In fact, you can see the big improvement in the humidity tracker. All the green ooze represents mid to high level dew points, usually 65 to 70 plus. That would be stuffy. That takes us through midday tomorrow. It's still humid. What are you talking about? But the inflection point, the point at which this ooze disappears, will likely come between 2 a.m. and 8 a.m. Saturday, if that's still holding true. Look, there's 2 a.m. It's beginning to disappear in Kentucky. And by the time you wake up Saturday morning, it's gone. It pretty much is out of here, and that means it's comfortable for the motorcycle, the convertible, or perhaps the Jeep top. But it might come back a little bit at midday Saturday, but by and large, it does move away Saturday night, and into Sunday, it's gone totally Sunday. That's Sunday morning at 8. So if you're doing some camping in the Smokies, hint, hint, great weekend for that. Fantastic weekend. Highly recommended. If you're going to do some camping, this would be a good weekend to do it. I know school's back in session now, but it is something to consider given the fact that you don't get low humidity days in August all that often. So when you do it, take advantage of it. And we are embarking now on ragweed season, so some might have some challenges with the allergies. By the way, the 7-day outlook from the National Hurricane Center has now what was a 40, now 50%. Boy, that's an update from 8 o'clock. A 50% chance that that wasn't even there just a few hours ago. I know, but it's the time of year. How many times have I said this? The time of year where things get ramped up. It's usually late August into September that we see the names just rapid fire. We could have Ernesto, and then suddenly Francine appears out of nowhere, and then we could have Gordon and Helene. So we have tropical names already established for this year. But the hurricane season, as you can see from this bar graph, is a historical view. So September 10th, usually when there's more activity in the Atlantic somewhere, it usually reaches a fever pitch. And so we are just at that point in time on August the 8th. We've got a lot of uphill climbing to do before we see a decrease in activity. Storm Prediction Center highlighting some colors tomorrow. The yellow and dark green will be the areas mainly around the I-95 corridor. We're talking the big cities like the Big Apple, Philadelphia, and possibly Baltimore. We'd say D.C. might be isolated severe, but there will be some potential damaging winds in those areas. While we have some thunder potentially, the Storm Prediction Center really doesn't even highlight that. They kept us out of the light green area for tomorrow, but there is that possibility. So our Futurecast shows this storm that is Debbie, no longer a storm. It's a tropical depression. It moves north of maybe up toward, say, the panhandle of West Virginia and travels into upstate New York. Friday afternoon, okay, and looks like by Saturday it's just nothing but picture perfect. Hardly a cloud in the sky. That's why I say perfect for a convertible or a motorcycle type weekend, if that is your mode of transportation. But by the way, the Futurecast shows Sunday looks good as high pressure takes firm control, and we'll have another nice looking day, I think, on Monday. The future visibility. What about fog in the morning? Some like to count the fogs in August. Not everybody will participate, it would appear, but there are enough white patches of poor visibility tomorrow morning that some might actually have some to greet them, especially if you had rain today. It is reasonable to expect that you might have some fog in the morning. So that's the future visibility. Let's get to the forecast. Tonight it's going to be sticky, 72. Partly, mostly cloudy, still some spots of rain and storms in the area. Winds light and variable. Tonight we're down to 71. Morristown, Seymour, Dandridge. About 72. Maryville, Alcoa, Wares Valley, about 69. Sevierville, 69. And 66 for a low in Crossville in Cumberland County. Tomorrow I do expect to stay in the upper 80s. We were in the upper 80s technically today, but our friends in Oak Ridge made it to the low 90s. I think generally upper 80s will be the name of the game. Hazy sun, scattered clouds, and a 30% chance, not that high, 30% chance of some rain and thunder tomorrow. 87 Morristown. 87 Newport. These are my expectations as what's left of Debbie, she rapidly moves up toward the north and east. Kingston, about a high of 88 for you tomorrow. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville and East Tennessee. I've got us at 88 on Saturday. Now, granted, it's less humid, but it's still warm. 88 is nothing to say. It's not like it's cool or fall or autumnal yet. But 87 Sunday, 87 Monday, humidity is still low because the dew points and temperatures are in the low 60s. And by the time we hit, say, Tuesday, I think our best chance at this stage of the game will be a 40% chance mainly in the morning because that front will come in and will work its way out. We'll be back likely in the low 90s by late next week as a 30% chance of rain may reappear next Thursday. By the way, you can keep track of it all using the Captain Accurate Weather app with Pete Michaels Traffic, the best traffic reporter in town, hands down. And guess what? It's free. Keep you and your family safe. Just search the two words Captain Accurate at the App Store and Google Play. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. I hope you have a safe and delightful weekend. And it's back to school for kids all across the board. I hope they have a great, fantastic start to the new year. My name is David Aldridge. We'll see you here next time. Take care.